Okay, so today we're going to do a general overview of the system. We're going to walk through creating a quote, turning that into a contract, taking it to purchasing and into work orders, and then coming back and taking a look at job costing. So I'm going to begin by clicking on New Quote here. And in the top left, the very first thing you're going to want to do is select a customer. You can build out a quote without a customer if you want to, but 99% of the time you're going to want to go ahead and select the customer. You can see as I begin typing, it narrows that list down. Go ahead and pick David here. Fills in all of our billing information as well as our job site information. If there's no job site information, you can copy the billing over. You can create multiple job site addresses and select for them for designers or builders, things like that. You can edit customers from here. You can also create new ones. So if they're not a customer yet, you can go ahead and create them. Down here you can notice that all the customer's information filled in on this quote. So the job type, price level, location, who the salesperson is, where that customer heard about you, whether they're taxable or not. So everything fills in for you if it's already on the customer. We'll go ahead and create some line items. So you can do material, service, and other. Go ahead and do a material line. We'll put some carpet on here first. So if you have a products list in the system, you can just click on it and it'll automatically fill everything in. If you don't have a products list, it's no problem. You can start the system without one. You can actually run the whole system without a products list. You just fill this in manually each time. It's not a problem at all. If you do have products, it obviously makes it a little faster, and those products can be imported. You can also enter them as you go through the added products function on the material lines. So either way works well in the system. It brings in your cost here, which it also brings in a price. I can override that price. Let's say I want 40 instead of 43. It'll recalculate it for me. I can also, instead of that, say I want to do a 35% margin. That'll go recalculate my pricing based on that margin. Or I can flip that to a markup and it'll calculate it as a markup instead of a margin. So you can flip that around however you need to. You can also then just override it. I'm going to just charge an even 40, make it simple for them. And we'll put down here that we're going to be putting this in 3 bedrooms, a hallway, and 2 closets, something like that. If you're pulling this out of inventory, you're going to use this new assignment button. So we'll go ahead and click new assignment. This will show us all the rolls of carpet that are in stock for this style. Now, there's a pretty large roll in here at 700 yards. I don't think they actually make rolls that big, but we'll go ahead and act like they do. We'll go ahead and pull 50 yards off of that. So we've assigned 50 yards. This is not taking it out of our warehouse yet. It's just assigned it to this quote, which does relieve it from inventory for usable purposes. It's no longer available to use on another job. If you cancel the quote, it does cancel that assignment out. So we'll go ahead and do a new purchase or special order as well. This is preparing it for purchasing. So if you're going to purchase it, you'll use this function. So in this case, we're going to order some and we're going to pull some out of inventory. Typically, you're going to be doing one or the other, but you do have the ability to do both. So we'll fill out our area location. You can also fill in any notes that you have if you want to do that, and then you just save and close when you're ready. Now that's applied it onto the job with calculated tax. You can see here that there's 50 to be ordered and 50 has been allocated. If you need to reallocate, you can always cancel that allocation, pick a different style of carpet, a different roll of carpet, whatever you need to do there. We'll go ahead and add some labor now. So click Service Labor. That pops open, and just like the product, I can select from a labor rate list if I have one. If you don't have a labor rate list, again, you can type all this in manually. We type in our quantity, it fills in all of our information. Pricing works just the same. You can fill it all out. You can use margins, you can use markups. Puts it all in for me. Notice it is calculating the projected margin as I go, projected profit, projected margin there. Go ahead and do an other line item. I'm going to do a discount, but other line items can be used for just about anything. Freight, shipping charges, discounts like this. You can also think of it as this is something that you're going to use to add revenue or cost to the job that is not material or labor. So material and labor, we'll use those other line items. Anything that's not material and labor, we'll go through another line. Go ahead and save that. And again, it's affecting my margins, showing me all my information. You can see which line items are taxable here. Now that I've got the line items on the job, I'm ready to print this thing out for the customer. You do have the ability on each line item, if you open up a line item, you can see here that you have this customer copy, the yes or no drop down. If it says yes, it's going to show up for the customer when you print it. If it says no, it won't. So you have that flexibility. You can combine all of your pricing into one line item and not have pricing per line item. You can, we call it lump sum billing, or you can split it all out this way. It's completely up to you. Each job may be different. Some jobs the customer may require a line item detail. Others, you know you're going to get shopped, so you're just going to put in a lump sum number and a very brief description of the job. You can print this thing out in 4 different ways. Customer copy 1, 2, and 3 are going to show all the line items that you've said to show. Customer copy 1 will show quantity, rate, and amount, as well as description. Customer copy 2 shows just the quantity and the description, so it does not show rate and amount per line item. Customer copy 3, on the other hand, shows just the description, and the total at the bottom on all 3 of them will show up. So you kind of have a lot of flexibility there on how you want that to display. You can also use what we call the quick job. This allows you to just type a description. It doesn't show the line items at all. You just type whatever you want into it. And we'll get into more detail on that in a future training session. So once you've printed this out and the customer's accepted it, you're going to come back in and convert this into a contract. When you convert it into a contract, it does put a contract date automatically, but you can change it if you need to. That's a different date. It also puts in SC up here so you know it's a contract. And now you're ready to do things like, we'll go ahead and receive a payment. So we'll take a deposit on this. Because it's a retail job and we've put settings in the system that for retail we take a 50% deposit, it's calculating here what we assume that deposit amount should be. Let's say we're taking a check, and I'm going to round that. We'll say we're taking a $2,000 deposit, and there's my check number. We apply that in. It works just like what you would think it would. Puts the payment on, gives you a balance. Now, the sales contract, as soon as I converted it, synced into QuickBooks. The payment, as soon as I created it, synced into QuickBooks as well. The customer was already sitting there. As soon as the customer is created, it sits and syncs to QuickBooks also. So as you're doing this, you're actually building out what's happening in QuickBooks, so there's no duplicate data entry happening over there. Let's go ahead and generate our purchase order. So we'll do a new special order PO. The system already knows that we put 50 of that to be ordered, so it's already got it here for us. The only thing we're needing to do is verify the vendor. So we're going to pick BOU. Let's say you had carpet tile and vinyl on the same job. You have 3 different vendors on there. You're going to do this process for purchasing 3 different times, 1 purchase order per vendor. So you can add more to that purchase order if you need to, but you do want to have 1 per vendor so that way you have a unique PO number here for each vendor. It uses the contract number and then a dash PO1, and then purchase order 2 would be PO2 and so forth. If you do the ordering by phone or online, you should get some information. You might put online here, or maybe Henry took your order, you type the person's name in who took the order. Put in the reference number that's given. Say they're going to ship this out on Monday. The estimated arrival date, let's say we're going to get that on Thursday. Now, if I wanted to, I could open this up. Maybe the rate here was wrong. You're actually going to get this for $24.50. So your total cost on this job is actually going to be a little bit better than what the projection was, because we've just lowered the cost of what we're actually purchasing. I'll go ahead and receive this. You're going to receive it as soon as you get it. There are different ways to receive. Do it from the purchase order. There's a material on order list. You can actually do it from the contract. So there's a lot of different mechanisms, and we'll go into more detail on those different mechanisms in a future training video as well. So let's go and put in our die lot. You can track your bin locations. We'll put that in here. We'll go ahead and save and close this. Now, when we save this, it receives it against the PO, but it also assigns it back to that job automatically. So you can see it's received it here. You save that. You can see it's received on the PO now. Go back to the contract. Notice it's no longer to be ordered or on order. It's allocated. So there's now 2 allocations. The 50 that we allocated up front, and then the 50 that we just received got automatically allocated back to this job. So everything's automated as you go through that process. Let's go ahead and create a work order here. So what I'm going to do is click Create, choose Work Orders and New Installation. When we do that, all we have to do is pick our crew, confirm our date, and everything else happens for us. In the crew name, if you know who it's going to be, you can go ahead and select them. If you don't, just choose unassigned. It'll show up on the calendar as unassigned. Go ahead and pick a date. Let's say we're going to do this this coming Monday. I'm going to put it on for this coming Monday. Actually, I think we weren't actually going to receive it till Thursday, so let's put it on for Friday. You can also put a time in there. It does calculate, or it does create a work order number automatically for you, again using the contract number. And this work order, as well as the purchase order we created, both sync to QuickBooks as purchase orders. So once you've assigned a crew, this work order syncs in as a purchase order to pay that labor vendor at the end of the job. And again, it's just all about automating that data entry into QuickBooks. Go ahead and click Generate Work Order here. That creates my work order. If I want to, I can pick a highlighter color. These colors are custom. You actually create them yourself. You can insert a new color, change those colors, label them, delete them. Put that on there. These can be anything from status like this. They can be type of job. Maybe it's carpet, or vinyl, or hardwood, or your different colors. Maybe it's the salesperson. It can be anything you want. We typically recommend that you match it up to whatever you're doing now. So if you're using coloring now, go ahead and put the same colors in here, and it'll make that transition process just one less thing for your users to think about as they're going into the system. So we'll go ahead and say that's ready. Now, notice we do show the labor on this work order. When you print, however, you can choose to show either the with or without the labor cost when you print that out. You can print a map if you want to, and you can also print a material list, which is effectively a picking ticket, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. So go ahead and save that. Now notice back on the contract here, you can see that those two line items are now on a work order. You can see the quantity that's on there. So if you wanted to put part of it on that work order, you can have multiple work orders for the same material and labor and add it to different crews. So if you're splitting that up, they'll split it up automatically for you just by when you type in the quantity there. So go ahead and save that. And let's go take a look at the schedule. So we'll go out to next week. Let me go ahead and click here. You can click on the date here. We'll pick next week. Go out to next week and show us. So here's the one we put out there for Friday. You can see the crews on the left with the days of the week out to the right. I'll actually jump back to last week so we can take a look at a little bit more information on the calendar. You can see how if you have multiple events, they do stack up. I can also pick these up and move them. So I want to take this one. I'm going to move it. Let's say it actually went out on Monday and that Carlos took that out. Just move that over. It drags right over there. I can use these little arrows to navigate. And notice I can actually look at multiple things here. This is showing measures, work orders, next contact, and appointments. So you can create appointments. You can have measures from your job, from the quote or contract. You can have next contacts from your quote or contract. If I click on a work order, it's going to pop it open for me. It's going to straight back to that work order form we were looking at a moment ago. I can view the material list here. When I view the material list, this is showing me each assignment of inventory. If I'm ready to say that this material is now gone, so if this work order comes back and they say work order is completed, you can deliver all material by clicking that. You can also click on the individual assignment and deliver partial. So if I wanted to deliver this, I could do a new delivery ticket. I can deliver part of this roll if I want to, so I can put in whatever quantity I actually delivered. I can also deliver just the whole thing. So we'll go ahead and save that. Now it's delivered. Go ahead and save and close this. And you can see back here, now we've got 50 assigned, 50 delivered, but this one's not delivered yet. So as the process happens, you're going to come back into the system and tell the system what physically happened out in the warehouse. I'll go ahead and do this one the same way. Put in 50 here. We'll save that. Now if we go back, let's go back and take a look at that contract. So this for 26620 was our contract number. So I'm just going to go close this out. We'll go all the way back to the to here. I'm going to type in 226620. I can type in just about anything. Excuse me, 26620. I can type in the customer name, the address, the phone number, the salesperson, anything that you have that's related to it. And it'll pull up. Notice it found that purchase order as well as that contract. So I can click on the contract from here. And right from here, I'm going to go View and Job Cost Sheet. So let's take a look at what this looks like now. Remember, we had a projected margin of $32.76. Let's go ahead and go view job cost sheet. On the left-hand side here, we have all of our material information, labor, and other broken out. So that's based on the line items that we created. On the right-hand side, it's breaking it out, or it's totaling it all up for us. So here's our revenue. We didn't have any freight that we added. We didn't have any overhead that we added, although you can do those things. We've got a total cost, a profit, and a margin. Notice that margin is better than what we projected because we decreased the value of the carpet that we ordered. So we've got a better margin than we thought. We're also calculating commission automatically based on the salesperson. So you can set up commission groups. Those can be sliding scale. It can be a flat. It can be based on revenue or profit. And you can have different commission groups per salesperson. It automatically calculates based on who's selected. And down below, you can also see we break out the projected margins per line item here for you. So that takes you through the general concept of creating a job inside of FlooringSoft. I hope you enjoyed the training session, and we'll be, if you have more detailed questions, there are other training videos that get into more in-depth in each of these processes. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.